get too focused when I try to take it too personally.
What's up, guys? I'm coming at you today with a Q&A. A Q&A is a questions and answers. Took me a while to understand that. I keep on seeing Q&A on these YouTube videos. I'm like, what the hell is Q&A? Questions and answers. You guys ask the questions, I'm gonna give you some answers. The number one I learned, first of all, I learned so many things from like the posing to having a routine based on music, you know, timing out my poses. I learned how to rest and recover. That's the number one thing I learned. So I gained 25 pounds of stage weight from my men's physique days to my classic physique days. And a lot of people think I did it, I manipulated steroids, or, you know, I ate a shitload of calories. The number one thing I noticed was when I allowed my body to rest, I grew. So I took 2 rest days a week where I did absolutely nothing but just sit on the couch or lay in bed. I didn't run errands, I didn't do my chores. So I really grew like crazy just taking rest, which is quite the opposite of what I do in men's physique. I was always too big for men's physique. So I'd have to train every single day just so I wouldn't like grow enough where I'd fall out of division. It was awesome experience being in classic physique. I absolutely loved it. The guys were getting huge, but the guys in men's physique were also getting very big as well. Here's a story I haven't told anyone yet. We're a couple days out of the 2017 Classic Physique Olympia, and I was in the room with 2 of my coaches, and I look over to them, and I kind of like smiled, and I was like, dude, should we get a pair of board shorts right now and like just jump in men's physique? Because what I saw in the mirror was a winning men's physique package. You know, it totally happened by accident. Both my coaches, they kind of like looked at me and like chuckled, and they looked at each other and they chuckled. All 3 of us weren't like, you know what? That really is a good idea. Let's do it. Hindsight's 2020. I don't regret ever leaving men's physique, and I don't regret ever going to classic physique because I love the way I looked, placed very well. Man, I stood up there with some of the best guys in the world. And I can't wait to return back to men's physique and do it again, because I think that now these guys are so big, and you know, I finally have the muscle fullness and density where I could really take another run at this title. It is 100% a coincidence. Jeremy was great champion, you know, it's just his retirement happened after I put on all this muscle density and all this size on my frame. You know, I don't really think that Jeremy is retired. He's young, he's dominant. I think that he'll be back, and I embrace all competition. So it's 100% a coincidence, man. I don't leave a division because I don't enter a division because they're not there anymore. That's like ludicrous. I'm a competitor. I'm here to compete with the best. I only want to compete with the best. Oh man, like let's go back to like when I'm like 18, 19 years old. 3, maybe 4 times. I mean, by the 4th time, it probably wasn't even enjoyable. The skin probably gets a little tender. So be careful. If you're approaching 3 or 4 times wanking a day, just wank at your own risk. That's crazy. This is a big misconception. You know, everyone's trying to make their waist smaller. Like, making your waist smaller is an uphill battle. You know, if your body fat's low, your waist is gonna be as small as it could be. But what you should really focus on is, how do I make everything else bigger? Okay, let's take men's physique for example. Like, the 3 most important body parts that make a great men's physique competitor is big medial delts, big lats, and although you don't see the quads, it's important to have a good quad sweep. Because what happens when you have all 3 of these, you create the perfect V-taper and the X-frame, and that's really going to set you off on stage. So instead of focusing on making your waist small, just focus on losing body fat and focus on having super wide shoulders, super wide lats, and some thick legs. And your waist is going to appear to be super tiny. Throughout the years, I think my waist started out as like 27, like when I was on stage. And now when I'm on stage, my waist has gone up to 30. So gradually my waist has got bigger and bigger with the more muscle I put on my body and the more my body matured. But it looks smaller than ever because I'm creating an illusion. Cardio is a tricky thing because there's a point of diminishing returns. Myself included, I've seen on my own body, you do too much cardio, what's gonna happen? It's gonna have negative effects because they'll start to soften you out, it might flatten you out. So I think the thing to focus on is to find a nice balance. For me, I like to do cardio 5 days a week, no more than 20 minutes. I like to do high intensity interval training. So usually what I do is 20 seconds all out intensity, 40 seconds rest, 20 seconds all out intensity, 40 seconds rest, repeat until you're on the floor gasping for air, okay? But just keep it short, keep it simple. I do not believe in fasted cardio. Fasted cardio, in case you're tuning in and you're not familiar with the term, fasted cardio means doing cardio on an empty stomach, which usually means first thing in the morning or sometimes before bed at night. For guys like myself who struggle to stay full and round, I think that really flattens me out. It actually takes away from my look. Most important and the best time I've noticed to do cardio is directly after my last set in my training session. That doesn't mean finish my last set and then I go talk to my friends for 5 minutes, I go wash my hands and my face, and I go to the locker room, and then I do my cardio. No, that means as soon as I'm done with my last set, my last rep, I walk my ass straight to the cardio room and I jump on the cardio while I'm still sweating, while I'm still warm. I'm pretty much promoting thermogenesis. I'm like being really hot and I'm really trying to get my heart rate up. I don't like my heart rate going above 175 if I'm doing cardio. Very rarely, but it does happen. I'll get up to 200 heart rate and keep it somewhere around like 155, 170. The hell are you doing buying cereal because of me? The most, I guess, underutilized or the most not talked about thing that there is to get shredded is suffering. And nobody wants to suffer anymore. To get shredded, to get peeled, to be inside out. In the best shape you've ever been, you have to suffer. This shit is not easy. There's about 8 weeks of my life that are super uncomfortable that I wake up every day and say, man, I don't know if I could do another day of this. I do not know if I could do another 10 minutes cardio. I do not know if I could do another leg day. I do not know if I could keep this up for much longer. That is how you get in the leanest, most conditioned shape of your life, is just doing what everyone else is not doing. Everyone looks a certain way because they're doing A, B, and C. You gotta do everything. You gotta fucking push yourself like you've never been pushed before. Nobody wants to fucking be uncomfortable these days. And you know what? If you're not uncomfortable, you're just gonna have this, you're gonna reap the same rewards you always reaped. If you put yourself in an uncomfortable position and you really fucking push yourself, you're gonna achieve new heights. I'm gonna tell you guys straight up right now, if I only had 3 sports nutrition supplements, they would be a good whey protein, a good branched chain amino acid, and a good creatine. Keep it simple. I started my prep 8 weeks ago at 209 pounds. I am now leaner and bigger, so in 8 weeks I gained 209, I'm 225 today. Shit, I gained a lot of muscle. So it sounds crazy, but I'm actually gonna be bigger in men's physique than I was in classic. So I'm coming in there anywhere between 210, 216, 17 pounds. The most important thing to focus on, guys, is not a particular weight. You're going for a particular look. And I know the look I wanna bring. I wanna bring it up big full chest, full arms, and a super wide back. And if I have those 3 things, it's gonna be a long night. When I was 18 years old, I looked in the mirror one day and I was disgusted about what I saw. And I'm not even exaggerating. I literally was so appalled by what I seen in the mirror. I could put my hand around my whole wrist and feel my bones. And I was looking at myself without a shirt on, and I could count all the ribs in my midsection. And I was 139 pounds at 5'11". That's incredibly skinny. And it made me physically sick. I wanted to gag, I wanted to throw up. And then I had this body dysmorphia issue where I hated the way I looked. You know, I couldn't make eye contact with anybody. I couldn't enjoy my quality of life. I'd walk around slumped over with my head down, hands in my pockets. It was just bad. I knew I needed to change. And the goal wasn't ever to be a bodybuilder or, you know, to be in the fitness industry. The goal was to go from 139 pounds to 155 pounds. That was my goal, and 155 pounds was like nearly impossible for me to get there. When I got to 155, I was like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna get to 170. After 170, 185. After 185, oh my God, I could only dream of being 200. So I went all the way up to 240, and it was not easy, guys. You know, I had to eat a tremendous amount of food, and I had to put a tremendous amount of stress on my muscles. Everyone forgets that. You gotta go in a gym and train hard. You gotta stress the muscle in order for it to grow. And obviously you have to recover, you know, protein, sleeping, you got, you know, the basic stuff, but I had to physically change. So that's why I made the change when I was 18. And I said, you know what, I can't look like this. I can't go on like this. It takes a certain level of confidence to get about your day, to get a fucking job, to pick up a fucking girl, to be happy and comfortable in your own skin. Going back to one of the questions, like why I switched to classic physique, I wasn't comfortable in my skin at men's physique. I dedicated over 10 years of my life to eating and training. And at that time in 2015, I just remember, like, you know, people telling me like, all right, if you want to win the title, you got to get a little leaner. Got to lose a little more weight. You got to come down a little bit. You're a little too big. Don't get your arms big. So I remember the first men's physique Olympia, I competed over 190. Second men's physique Olympia, I came in 184. By the third men's physique Olympia, I was all the way down to 179 pounds. And that was the last time I stepped on a men's physique Olympia stage. And I remember leading up to that show, I hated the way I looked. And after the show, I didn't get the placing that I wanted. But not only that, the most important thing was I looked in the mirror and I said, all that fucking muscle that I had, I let that shit go to fucking waste. I didn't like the way I looked. That's one of the main reasons I left men's physique. I wasn't even sure if I was ever gonna compete again at that point. I've never said this up until this point. You know, there was 3 or 4 months when I was like, it, man. You know, I don't need to compete anymore. If I'm not comfortable with my skin, I don't like the way I look, what's the point? 2 months, 3 months, 4 months goes by. You know, I'm hearing about this classic physique thing. I'm like, you know what? I could fucking do this. I was already like insecure about the muscle I lost. You know, I didn't feel good in a t-shirt. I didn't feel good in the gym. Like, I started bodybuilding for me. I didn't start bodybuilding for judges or for the fans or for the sponsors. So what I decided to do was, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna test myself. Let me gain 20 pounds of muscle. And I did. And I started to love the way I looked. And it reflected in every aspect of my life. It reflected around my family. It reflected around, you know, my girl. It reflected around my friends. My workouts were happy, you know? So when you like the way you look and you're happy, that's what really matters. It's not about, oh, man, you were second in men's physique, now you're third in classic. Oh, you were third in classic, now you're seventh. Who gives a I don't give a Like, I like the way I looked. I trained hard. And that's what it really should matter, you know? It really should matter. People need to go into shows these days with a positive outlook. I'm not gonna say realistic goals, because realistic goals. You gotta go in there and have some kind of personal goal. Did you train as hard as you could train? Did you like the way you looked, you know? Do you like the way you look after the show? That's what's important. Like, no one remembers what I placed in Olympia 5 years ago, or no one remembers 2 years from now, people are not even gonna talk about my 7th place at the Classic, which is, first of all, a tremendous achievement. Do this shit for you. I was just exhausted, guys. Like, I've trained so hard for so many years, and I really didn't ever allow myself to just let loose, and I wanted to enjoy the quality of my life. You know, I worked so hard. I had the sponsors. I've placed top 5 in Olympia for so many years in a row, trained so hard for so many years in a row. So I want to focus on my personal relationships, my family, my friends, and I'm so glad I did, because I really needed that. I needed that 1 step backwards to make 2 steps forwards. And a lot of people forget that. And they do that with everything in life. And they do it with bodybuilding. Look at these guys, like more steroids, more heavier weight. Oh, keep going. What's happening to these guys? A lot of them are dropping dead, or they have illnesses, or you see them fucking alone. They're not in a relationship. They don't leave their house. All they do is go to the gym and eat their food. At the end of the day, a lot of them are miserable. Granted, there's so many other like happy and positive people out there. I met a lot, and I was seeing myself get a little dull. And I was getting dull in the respect of all I did was wake up, eat, take a nap, eat, go to the gym, drink my post-workout shake, eat, sit in front of the TV, eat, wait 2 more hours, eat, go to sleep. Like, that is literally like my life for so many years. Like, I've traveled and I've done a lot of cool shit, but like, you know, like that shit will make you dull as f. One of the hobbies I actually want to pick up is, I've been wanting to do this for so long. I want to learn how to play the acoustic guitar, like little shit like that. Like, if you could pick up a hobby during your prep, whether it's like painting, music, I don't know, stamp collecting, you know, try to pick up a hobby. This way, like, you're not driving yourself crazy looking at your watch and, all right, in 39 minutes I gotta eat. Okay, well, I can't be late on this meal. I gotta run to the grocery store, get this, I gotta eat this in exactly 3 minutes. Like, that's how crazy it gets, especially at the top level. I do not allow myself to slip up at all. 2017, Classic Physique Olympia prep, everything was fucking perfect. Everything was fucking perfect. I think only one time I was supposed to have like a red potato, and instead of having a red potato, I had a sweet potato. I did 11-month prep. That's the only thing that wasn't fucking perfect. It was that one day that I did a sweet potato instead of red potato. And that's fucking impressive. And that's fucking neurotic, okay? Like, to be a good bodybuilder, you gotta be like OCD and you gotta be a little crazy. But I also think that that has negative effects on somebody. I feel like when you're too fucking into something, when you're too attached, when you're too obsessed, that could actually have the negative outcome. You start to mind yourself, and it's a bigger fucking deal than it is. Sadik, you've done fucking 19 shows your entire life. Like, you know how to fucking do this with your eyes shut. Don't make it so fucking complicated. Same thing. That's the advice I have to amateurs out there. Enjoy the process. You see videos of Arnold and all these guys, you know, just fucking in California, laying on the fucking beach, like hanging out with girls, smoking a joint, like whatever the fuck they're doing. They're in the gym, they're fucking smiling, they're having fun, and a lot of people forget, and myself included, I forget how to do that. I get so fucking locked in, I get so in the zone that sometimes you need to fucking stop and smell the roses. Take a deep breath, chill out, relax. All right, guys, that's it for my first Q&A. I want to thank all my new subscribers and followers, and I want you guys to make sure you subscribe to the channel. This way you get the video instantly and you never miss an episode. So, peace out.